Good morning, good morning. Here we are.
Welcome to
Nice to see you.
Hi, Chris.
Hello, Kim.
How are you?
Hello. How are you? Nice to see you. The place is looking great, hey?
Welcome to the Hunter Central Coast and Birrabban Public School in particular.
I was saying to Karen that where things are really powering on here in the Hunter is school leaders are having a really good connection to community, and there's a really deep and rich relationship.
We worked pretty hard to try to get some guidance from the Aboriginal community because obviously what we'd been doing in the past wasn't working.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure that if we're honest, that many of us didn't think that the local Aboriginal people who lived in Toronto didn't really have a lot of knowledge about their culture, which was a very bad thing for the staff. But that was probably their beliefs before we opened our eyes and looked at and listened to.
So the truth is they found out something quite different.
Well, yeah.
Karen, when you and I were in high school, there was very little going on in terms of Aboriginal stuff in schools. It was as if, we either talked about it in a prehistoric sense or a traditional native sense, or it was kind of talked about on occasions as something to be embarrassed about. And then we went through a phase where people started to get the importance of it and the importance of engaging and getting into the cosmetic stuff, like setting up a few murals, those sorts of things. But I see your region leading the way in this regard, in which it's beyond the cosmetics to a point where there are very deep and very rich and very meaningful and productive relationships between community and school.
You'll see in the next couple of days as you visit schools that each school's addressing in building partnerships with their local communities in different ways. They're taking the challenge up in partnership with their communities, which is resulting in different journeys. But there's no doubt that the common elements are quality classrooms, quality schools, and particularly quality relationships. And that includes students, staff, the direct community, parents and caregivers, but also the indirect community, local lands councils, the AECGs, both regional and local. And it's those partnerships that are making the difference in all our schools, I believe.
So we've got about 88 Aboriginal students here.
Okay. Out of how many in total?
We've got 920 students here at the school.
Okay, so good chunk.
Yeah. When I first got here, the very first group of people I met were the signers. They came in just because I showed them the time of day and listened, and all of a sudden, I think the next day I had like another, 6 families in through the door because they heard that, the new boss is willing to sort of listen and talk to you. And then I think we just settled into that time where we brought them, everyone in for consultations and talking, and we have regular meetings, which I don't run. The community runs the meetings, and our local community sets the agendas, and we just respond. How are we, miss? Can we come in?
Oh, it's warm in here. How are you? Chris, Sarah. Hi, Loretta. So there's been a big shift, hey, in the last 12 months.
Oh, for sure.
What do you put it down to?
Well, our new principal.
Yeah.
The teachers are easy to talk to.
Yeah.
It took a while for the students to get used to me when I first came, which I liked.
Yeah.
Because it made me work harder
Yeah.
on trying to get them, to build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Because I worked at another school for 6 years, but because I lived in that community, they knew you.
Yeah.
So when you switch a different community, it's a
You
whole
gotta
new
put the
ball
work in,
game.
hey? It just doesn't happen. Yeah.
So I thought, oh gosh, this is a challenge.
I would say without a doubt that it's the expectation we place on our principals that the partnerships have to be meaningful. All our school education directors attend the schools and know what's going on in the schools, but they also attend local Aboriginal Education Consultative Group meetings, our AECGs, so they're hearing from the community what's going on, not just from the schools.
We welcome community, we welcome input from community, and I think that because it's been happening for so long here, I think that we're a little bit ambivalent to how important it is in the process.
Like it's become part of normal process.
It's normal for us, and you coming for lunch today and seeing Pop and his extended family in the staff room, that's normal.
My role is Aboriginal Education Officer, and I'm the link between community and school. One of my biggest challenges, I think, was the fact that a lot of our parents had bad experiences at school. It was really hard work at the start, but we were lucky enough to have a core family at the time, the Simons, but that family sort of stuck by me right through. So they helped me engage the wider community, like the wider Aboriginal community.
For you and I, living the life of an Aboriginal person is not about our education role, it's our daily life, and education overlays onto that. I see a moral purpose in addressing the educational issues, but for other people that don't have that life, it's about them accepting the personal challenges that comes with their role as school education directors and principals.
When I first came here, this was a really volatile school, really volatile, and the community were all fighting, there was no harmony, kids, drugs, crime rate. What I did was started with the community. I did home visits, after home visit, after home visit, organised community things to get the community up and just empowering them. Getting the staff on board, to get them on board and think the way I was thinking and think about the kids in a different manner was after I go do home visits and got to know the parents and I go see the teachers. And I do know little Johnny, bad things happen there on the weekend, just keep an eye on him for me. Giving them a bit of reality to the child. It's not just a name or a little bum sitting on their seat.
Bottom line is our kids will be educated in public schools, and the teachers have a responsibility to do that, regardless of any kind of funding. But it's also really important for AEAs to get out there and speak to their community and insist to parents, and it does get you offside sometimes, but insist to parents that the kids, have to be in those classrooms every single day to take every opportunity, But accountability is number one, and we're accountable to our community and our kids.
The reality is for us that we've had so many reports over numerous years that have indicated a lack of engagement at school, increases your chance of engaging with the juvenile justice system. We know Aboriginal kids are overrepresented in those facilities. For us it is actually life or death. We've seen the deaths in custody. Education plays a major role in reducing our young men going into facilities, correctional facilities. For us, there's a moral purpose. It's not just an investment for today, it's actually an investment for future generations.
These three boys are members of our original dance group, and they're going to show part of the welcome dance that we usually do when we perform in front of other schools and other community people. It's an identity thing. As you see, the boy in the middle was my son, but he would think he's Aboriginal with his fair skin. It's an identity, and for these boys to actually come out and do the dance, learn the culture, the didgeridoo playing, it's telling the people out there that I'm Aboriginal, I'm strong, I'm smart, and it's building their confidence. Their confidence in the school is grown considerably, yeah.
I think being Aboriginal, and the kids will tell you, you got to be, it's in here, comes from within, and you got to be respectful, because the one thing they can't take off you is respect.
It's very important as an Aboriginal person to be allowed to express yourself without fear of somebody in the background smirking or doing what usually happens. And the kids are allowed to be themselves. They are, and that's really, really important because it motivates the kids, and then the kids want to come back to the school.
We're building the future. The kids of this community, probably many of them will stay living in this community. So the values and their solid educational foundation is going to be what builds this community. And so as much as any other role education has, it's about community building.
It's obvious to me, and you talked about this earlier, and it's something that we share. Whilst we work as educators and Aboriginal educators, it's very personal for us. Yet when I come here and I watch you in action with the principals that you supervise, you've managed to get white school leaders to make it personal for them. How did you do that?
Well, certainly I think we chose well in creating the opportunity for them to participate in the Stronger Smarter Leadership program. I think that 4 days, for a number of them, they will say quite clearly that it was actually life-changing to them. Not career-changing, but life-changing.
What we always had and what Stronger Smarter brought to us was it crystallised all the ideas we had into a program that we know can work. And to get that cultural presence in the school, to have high expectation of kids, to use community mentors and role models, to have really good role models in the school for Indigenous Ed. That's what we always wanted. Stronger Smarter gave us that framework.
I think the big thing is, since we've become stronger and smarter, it's that doing business differently. And most people, when they come into the place, say it has a special feel about it.
What he's doing is phenomenal for Aboriginal kids and our mob. And it's not just about Northern Territory, Western Australia, it's about everybody in general.
So let's think 25 years into the future where we can contemplate the fruits of our labour and the fruits of the labour of our colleagues. What do you want that to look like?
I want it to look like where the stereotypes don't determine the future, where there are less stereotypes about children and young people, where the future is our opportunity, not something that's predetermined by circumstance. This is about saying the education every child gets is of the highest quality to meet their needs, to create the opportunities for them for the future. I would say the contribution we make today has a moral imperative for the future, and that moral imperative is to create a socially just society where we value all. Certainly in our schools there's been a strong focus on celebrating the richness and diversity of Aboriginal cultures in this area, but I would hope that schools celebrate the richness and diversity of all cultures in their school, so we build the sort of society in which I want to grow old, I want my grandchildren to grow up, but a society that values each one of us as individuals for the contributions that we can make in the future.
That sounds like a stronger, smarter future.
Sounds like a stronger, smarter future, and I'm looking forward to it.
That runs against the tide.